Hello, survivors, and welcome to RSG streaming State of Survival. This is episode, what episode are we on now, guys? I think 6?
6.
Ooh, 6. So we're on episode 6 now. This is going to be our update thoughts. We're going to talk a little bit about SvS, maybe some trap talk, and do some question and answers. Again, I'm T McVenom with RSG. I am joined by my regular panel. We have Scorn from State. Oh my gosh, I can't ever remember you guys' states. State 20?
10?
10. Silver's 20.
Oh, that's wrong. Probably Silverwolf too, by the way.
I know, right? Scorn, State 10. Daedric is State 20. No, State 42.
Yes.
I'm good.
We're all Silverwolves.
Maybe by like episode 20, I'll get it. Maybe. Yeah. Delete. I know him because he's in State 125 with me. Say hi, Delete.
Yeah, what up?
Silverwolf might be popping on later. He's kind of busy with work right now, so he couldn't pop in. But we do have a special guest with us. We have Nemkey. He is from State 10. No, 11. Nemkey with State 11. He's with Legion. You're with Legion, right, Nemkey? Yeah. So thank you for joining us. We appreciate you popping in. We hear nothing but great things about you. We see a lot of you in videos.
All the lies.
Oh, no. All good stuff. We hear tons of stuff. And I see a lot of stuff with you with Sticky Fang on his channel and stuff. So I'm glad you're here. Somebody said, is she drunk? No, she just had a really long day at work. And this is kind of my personality. So I'm sorry. So today, we're going to go first. Nemkey, we'll kind of get to know you a little bit better in just a minute. I want to get through some of the mechanics first. Guys, be respectful. We are going to talk a little bit about the update, but all respectful feedback. We're not going to do any bashing. We're all adults here, and we want the game to grow and prosper, so respectful feedback. We're going to do question and answers at the end of this, closer towards the end of the stream. So if you have a question for any of the panel or the special guest, please put question in front of your question. Like type out the word question and then put your question behind it, because I use a bot that pulls the questions that way. So you can type them at any time, and then at the end of the stream, I'll start getting to those. I think that's all of the mechanics right now. So let's go ahead and get to, first off, the meme of the week, which I pulled this one off and I thought it was hilarious. Let me find it. There we go. Top-ranked player who plays 12 hours a day, and then it's got you in the scopes. You after a hard day at work trying to have fun. This is how I feel, honestly, right now with Delete in the Alliance. He's like kicking butt everywhere, and I just come on like, hey, I just got off work. Let me do a couple rallies. Yeah. So there we go. Let me take my Zoom back off. That was our meme of the week. All right. So the next on the agenda, we're going to do Nemkey. We're going to get to know Nemkey just a bit. I know that most of you guys in the chat probably know Nemkey. But Nemkey, can you tell us a little bit about how long you've been playing, if you play on more than one state, what your game style is, those types of things?
Yeah. Well, first thing first, thank you for having me. And so how long I'm playing this game? I think there is more than 8 months now. So it was quite early in the game. As you can see from my state, it's 11. I don't know when state 10 started, so I think maybe it's just 2 weeks after state 10. So I think there is already 8 months, if not more. And I'm playing only on 11. I started on state 100 to help some friends, especially on their first on the first fight regarding the governor. So. But I just play in state 11 because my time is quite limited, and I'm trying to do my best.
Yeah, you do a lot. I mean, you help the community quite a bit with information and stuff, plus you're playing hardcore on your state, and you help, I think, Sticky with a lot of his videos and stuff too, right?
Yeah. That is one of the things I'm trying to do. I'm trying to spread as much as real information as possible, because so many false informations and assumptions are spreading on, especially on Discord, and so many people are doing wrong stuff just because someone told them it's correct, or they tested it, which is usually they don't, or they don't do it properly. So in one moment I was just answering like hours and hours on Discord, and then I just decided like that does not really make sense, and then I just started building my own wiki for it. And
Gotcha.
now it's much easier to actually just point people, like whoever asks something, just please check the site and so on. So yeah, I try to educate the players.
Good. What would you say your play style is, Nemkey? Are you more aggressive play style? Are you a diplomat? Are you?
Oh, I'm usually diplomat, but when diplomacy fails, I'm quite aggressive. Especially in the beginning, I was really aggressive. I did some bad moves. I even destroyed an alliances just because I found them aggressive. Then I just been more aggressive than them. But yeah, now I'm just pure diplomacy. Like, I don't remember last time I attacked someone. Well, actually, it was
Wow.
today. Sorry.
Other than today.
Okay, but yeah, I'm trying to be as much as diplomatic as possible, especially now when state versus state is starting. So
Yeah.
I don't really want to push my state into any unnecessary, wars or troops like destroying each other and so on. So yeah, currently I'm just trying to chill things down and prepare everyone for upcoming state wars.
Cool. Guys, do you have any questions for Nemkey? No, Daedric, I saw you smiling when he was saying he's more diplomatic now. Daedric's the aggressive one out of the bunch. I would say
No,
Scorn's
it's
probably the most diplomatic out of all of us. And Daedric's the
it's
polar opposite.
watching some of the videos that are posted. I always ever see Nemkey fighting. So
I know.
hearing that he's diplomatic, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, if we see each other's state against state, I mean, no, I will not be diplomatic at all. I will be like a mad dog, but that's for sure. Yeah,
What is
no rules.
what's your favorite event, Nemkey? Right now.
Well, I think that currently everyone's favorite is the water raid, reservoir raid, because I mean that is the only event where can I actually get any challenge, because in my state, I mean, it's just sim building for me, because it's pointless to attack anyone because they don't stand a chance. So I don't find any happiness in that. So fighting against the other state, especially if they are much stronger than us, then that's really challenge and my favorite events, especially when we lose, because I learn so much when we lose. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Well,
all right, guys. That was good. Let's see. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about, let me check chat. I'm so bad about checking chat. Guys, y'all have to help me. Like if anybody asks like a question or shout out to anybody, I'm terrible about checking it. There's tons of people shouting out to you, Nemkey. They all love you. There's Sticky Fang is in there. So let's talk about the update. So it went.
Yeah, sorry. Sticky Fang mentioned the burning sticky event. That's not true. I never zeroed him. So he lied on the last when he was here. Yeah, Sticky, you liar. I got you now.
You just got called out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember that. I was like, wait.
Yeah.
Alliance where a dude zeroed you for, and he made it feel like it was out of the blue. Like it was just like, Sticky Fang, he makes videos, let me zero him.
Yeah, he missed also that he zeroed 2 of my players before that.
Oh, now
yeah, we were not like the entire time on the same side. Like, yeah, but it was just 3 attacks, Sticky. Yeah, stick it. Okay, just wanted to make that clear.
I bet he's going to do a super chat in a minute or something. So the update. who wants to start off with the update? How they like thoughts on it? Like I can talk all day long about the community reaction, but like just the update itself, and then we'll get into community reaction. How do you feel about it when it first came out, and then the adjustments they made? I know that one of you guys have some thoughts on it.
Yeah, it was very, very surprising. I think that's a polite word to use. It was very surprising what happened and how it was implemented in the game. I think the biggest concern that I read, and I was a part of those conversations, is where there really was no consultation to the community and to the players, where you just log in, you do this update, and all of a sudden, half the game mechanics are changed, and you're wondering, what are we doing now? How are things operating? What's changed? People were frantically trying to figure out, does this affect our ability to, do A, B, and C? And so, one of the biggest conversation pieces was, where was the consultation, and was a survey done? One of the pieces I felt could have been approached a lot better by the game company is doing a survey with the community. So if you go to your profile icon in game, there's actually a survey function. So the company does have an ability to release surveys, because I know of other players that have actually done them in game before. So there was every opportunity for that to be done, for feedback to be provided prior to an update being released. It just seemed very random and not really thought out.
I agree with that. I agree. I also think it felt so random because there wasn't a lot of forewarning with it. There was talks of it, but not really a like, okay, in the road ahead, we are looking at rebalancing or adjusting these aspects or fixing aspects that we never got around to fixing, like the healing. They said that was originally intended to be that way, and they were just getting around to fixing it 9 months later. I think if they would have given some forewarning and explanation of that a little bit further ahead of time to give us time to like, okay, prepare that this is the change that's going to happen, maybe there might not have been such a bad reaction. I don't know. It might still have caused some, but I think the communication there could have been better.
Well, if you think you had it bad, I'm not sure that many of you know, but because many of you are from the newer states, but on the beginning, after capital fight, you had a buff with 500% of unit boost training time for all the lost troops. And there was like, I think 4 or 5 capital fights with that buff. So many top players just killed all their troops, even me. And after that, you can just rebuild all of them with 500% of training time. Plus, you can return 70% from the building. I forgot the name now. And in one update, they just removed the buff and like didn't notice that they didn't put in the changes or anywhere. So many people killed their troops just to figure out that after the government fight, there wasn't a buff anymore. So many people killed all their troops. Yeah, they removed the buff, but they like didn't told anyone, or it wasn't on any notification.
Scorn, you were around for that?
The buff was used as a bug too. A lot of people were creating to the millions, or at least near the millions, and that's why it was removed. And Nemkey brings up another point I was going to also ask, kind of pose is, you and Daedric have both talked about Venom, and Daedric have mentioned, such a big update and not being really talked about beforehand, preparing the community. But have they done that before? So I'm not disagreeing with you. I just mean that they've demonstrated that they're not community oriented, and so it's kind of a, oh no, they did the same thing they do all the time. Like it's kind of like a non-shocker.
And I understand what you're saying. Like that's not their normal way of doing it. But however, that's part of the reason why the community has such discontent, because a lot of other games do that, and they manage. I mean, yes, of course they have backlash with updates, but the community still feels part of some of the decisions, not part of the decision making, but at least in the know of the decisions. So they feel prepared, at least that they can kind of talk and figure out a strategy before it happens. when you're trying to, like, the trap update thing, like everybody, it just happened. And then we're trying to figure out like how to manage this instead of like really kind of developing some sort of strategy beforehand. I know other games that I've played in, you get a little bit of forewarning and you get some discussion with it. And I just know that that's good for community involvement when you do have some forewarning. Not saying that they haven't done it before or that they didn't do it before and so they shouldn't start now. I just know that that's good for a community, and I would encourage them to start doing that more.
I'd agree.
They have a very nice community, or I think he's nice, community manager. So I think that would be something good for maybe him to start putting out updates and things like that as in Discord. Even if he wanted to in Discord, he could just put it out there. Just kind of like, hey, this is what we're looking at doing. Give us your feedback before, and, just see what happens with that. I mean, you can always just try it and see how it goes and how the community responds to it. Yeah. What do you think, Delete?
Yeah, I mean, it was very abrupt, and for a lot of people that are kind of crafting, they're crafting their character the way that they want to, the settlement the way that they want to, and then kind of have it switched, to the point where there's now a different focus, randomly just, hey, I just auto updated, let me see what's going on. And then, wow, that's a huge change. Was alarming. There's definitely like the map feature. I wish it's closer than it was before. I mean, maybe if they labeled bunkers and facilities when you scanned out, it's nice to not be able to completely hide your alliance and things of that nature. I mean, that was kind of cool, but there's definitely some tweaks that they still continue to need that are pretty crucial. I probably would have focused on more of the updates, that we've kind of requested on the show more than anything else. First, because I felt like those were a little bit more pressing. Now it's gone past the point of what do we do next? Because everyone's kind of, in a state where they're relearning things, what's changed, what hasn't changed, just the trap where it was like, okay, we've got a trap strategy. Then the next update or patch it's a different trap strategy. And then it was like, oh, wait.
Now we're back to the old one.
Now we're going back to
Yeah.
the original trap, so, I think those things need to be leveled out before they start kind of like pushing things further along. Because it's a lot different from people that are starting to play the game now from when Scorn started playing, or even when we signed up.
Well, even the newer states now have a whole completely new update now going on.
Yeah. Which is scary.
Yeah.
Which is scary because it's like, what, do I wait for that to happen and completely, pause everything so this way I can kind of game plan it? Or do I think that that's not going to happen, with state versus state? Because am I not playing anyone that's in a new state now with state versus state going on? So how many versions of the game can they possibly have before they bring us all together?
That's a good point as far as state versus state. If the new states would have a different setup.
So I want to crack that open a bit. So for the viewership that is not aware, there was a player who started an account in 242, I believe, or 244 and onward. The entire gameplay itself is nearly a completely different platform. So what we had talked about in the Mystery panel a couple weeks ago when we were coming up with game ideas for the game, a lot of our discussion on that board that week actually is what was implemented in a new version of the play style. So now there's brand new Alliance tech, exactly what we talked about. You can donate to research if your research is maxed out now. You can donate to march speed ups for your Alliance. There's brand new Alliance buildings on the map that you can capture if you build a tower beside it. Like it's a totally different platform now. So a lot of players have actually been starting accounts in the new states to try out the version. The issue again comes down to there was no communication. So players like us in this panel and everybody before state 244, whenever it started, are now sitting in a, quote, old version of the game where we have all these new players experiencing literally a different platform entirely. So, the question is for the people who've spent tens of thousands of dollars or, a fair chunk of change, how does that relate back to us? Is that going to be an implementation that we will see? Because at the end of the day, that's what we were looking for. That's why we talked about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big concern for me.
I did not know that it was a completely different platform type. I didn't realize. I thought there were some new features like the alliance buildings and things like that were all new. I didn't know. I wasn't aware of anything else. Real quick, Sticky said, Venom, we all love your hair. Thank you. I just got it done. I'm very happy about that. I was feeling very upset I couldn't get it done for 3 months. Thank you so much.
That. Sticky?
Hmm?
Nothing. Sticky said something, and I was like, yeah.
Deidre got his hair did too. I don't know if you noticed. He's looking very
gorgeous.
smooth with his haircut.
Oh, thanks.
You're supposed to do a hair flip, Deidre.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Let me just...
Thank you so much, Sticky Fang. Also, Steen Marabosin said, I would say plasma, but they fixed it. He donated $3 for that. I would say plasma, but they fixed it. Is he meaning about problems with the update? I'm thinking that's what he was talking about.
Yes. Yeah, that was a few weeks ago. He had wanted to discuss it, but they've since rectified the issue.
Gotcha. Yeah. What... I don't know. Nemkey, what do you think about as far as the whole new states having a whole different platform than the old states?
Well, I have mixed feelings, to be honest, because someone mentioned the reason we don't know will that actually be applied to us. And what I'm afraid that we are actually abandoned. They will keep us as long as there are active players, but what if they cannot apply these new patches on us? So they will just let us, die out. So that is currently the biggest fear. Can these new features be applied to older states? If not, then, we are old version, abandoned version. So
yeah, and that's a wasted investment too for a lot of you guys.
Yeah, if you look that way, investment, yeah, but it's more, I don't know. I feel abandoned.
Yeah. Scorin, do you have any thoughts on it?
Mostly the same thoughts as
Yeah.
Nemkey, really. It's the idea that, so they demonstrated, we just talked about a little bit, that they don't focus on the community and input in the first place. So they have these large changes in these later states. So what's the motivation for that? It clearly isn't what some people are presuming to see if we would like those changes. No, the modifications are for us. Those are for them, and for some other motivation, not financial.
So wait a minute.
So
let me clarify that what you're saying. So I guess maybe it's foolhardy of me to think this, but I thought that this was kind of like their beta, and then they're going to bring it out to everybody eventually. But that's not what's going to happen. Or have they clarified that that's not what's going to happen?
No clarification. You're correct.
So we don't know really. We can hope, but we don't know for sure.
But my concern is why they didn't actually apply to all the states. I don't think it's a beta because they're applying to all the new states and then they don't usually do that. If it's a beta, they will apply just for state 1 and then release for others. So I doubt that's the case.
Right? Other games, other companies generally have beta teams or teams that look at these and give input, people, the users that are experienced in it. And the fact that hasn't happened or isn't just kind of demonstrates supports this. We're going a different way because of our own other reasons and doesn't feel like it's community oriented in any way, as if they are abandoning us, like Nemkey's saying.
Yeah, that's the confusing part is and I've talked with several community members and even some of the devs, as far as a beta testing program, we're all for that. Everyone here on this panel is all for a beta testing program that would solve a lot of the community drama, community feedback issues, bugs, glitches, everything that we worry about. A beta testing program that are by some of the top players would be very effective, and most games have that. But I guess what I'm saying is, why would they put out this in a new state with trying to get feedback from new players that don't really understand how the game works anyway, unless they're trying What I would think is they're trying not to get a bias. They don't want a biased opinion. They don't want somebody that already knows this game and then saying, why are you changing this and why are you doing this? They want fresh people looking at a brand new system and coming at it from that angle. Maybe they're concerned about you older players are coming in at it with, you know, this is how y'all play this game and this isn't working for the way I used to play it, instead of looking at it fresh.
That's actually a fair perspective, and just something I thought about when we were saying that is the new players have seen how the old players play and how the game actually operates. So the people investing in newer states are actually having to spend less money than the older people because they're doing things right away, like from the very beginning. And they're, you know, they know promotions that are coming up based off of, you know, the cascading effect of when events are released. Like they're actually monitoring how the state operates as it progresses over time. You know, the one thing I hope that doesn't happen, and Nemkey touched on it, is that, you know, this whole new platform, that there's this realization of, hey, we can't apply this patch to the old states. So we're going to have all these new states with this new program, and we're going to hope that all these players abandon their accounts, open a new account, and reinvest to play in the new states. I'm hoping that is not the case, because again, you know, there's multiple players I can name a whole bunch that have put 10 grand plus into their accounts. And you can't just walk away from that. Like that's a really tough thing to do, you know, to tell a player, sorry, you need to move to this new state because we're not going to be providing you the same updates or the same patches. So we're going to ask you to abandon your 10 grand and go spend it again.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting.
I mean, there is another side of the story. I mean, if it happens once, it will probably happen again. I mean, why should I invest again in the game that already screwed me? No, I won't. I will just switch to another game. It's stable. That does not, you know, like abandon the older version of states or servers or whatever. I mean, it's pointless. I mean, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I get that. Like, why would you invest in another state when they may change it in the future in like state 300 and they change it all again? I get that. Yeah, Scorn, you were smiling. Did you have something else?
No, I was just agreeing with Nemkey on that. Just the idea that, like, I considered it. No, I'm not going to a new state. Like, I wasn't like, me and people I play with weren't considered about it, my community, and so why would I invest more or further? It's kind of a, not like anger, I guess. Wasn't because I expected it, but at the same time, it's kind of investing more. Well,
it also puts a different twist on the game for people like Sticky and I, or any of the content creators. So what does this mean? Are we streaming? We need to stream from 2 different accounts now to like get content out, because the content's completely different on different states. Like they have narrowed down our viewership to 1 through this many states, and then, you know, depending on what you stream, which side of the SOS coin that you're on. So that's kind of something that we'll have to look into later. What do you guys think about the community response to the last update? I mean, I understand that everybody was upset, but I know Deidre and I've talked about this a lot. How do you feel about how that went down, like in the Discord and stuff?
I was reading it because it was alarming. A lot of people were extremely aggressive. You know, and just forgetting that the people that they're chatting to have to respond because it's their job, and having to kind of put a smiley face on when they respond, and just treating those people like they were complete garbage and they were responsible for the changes themselves was kind of alarming. You know, it really was. You know, everyone really turned super dark, super fast. That you'll never have the answer as far as like, would they have changed it if people weren't that mad, or if people were talking nicely, or what the scenario was. But the backlash they received was over the top as far as just like personal attacks. That was just nasty. You know, whenever you're talking to someone in customer service, if you really want to get something back, you got to be nice. There's no way around that. You know, just be a human being. You know, I mean, and that was just a lot of people that just, it took me back to like old Call of Duty days when people would just drop really, really harmful things during a screen, you know, and just it was just not made for today's ears. It's probably the best way to.
I mean, I don't approve such a behavior. I mean, of course, but it will be. You cannot look just the last update. I mean, it's not just last update; it's every update. So this is actually just gathered anger on the game, on the support, on the devs, on everyone. I mean, this is just like one over the top. No, it is not just one bad update. It's just every bad update.
I agree. I understand what you're saying. It's cumulative effect, and it's like shaking a bottle, and you shake it and shake it, shake it, and finally it's going to explode. But at the same time, they could have gotten the same message across saying, "This sucks. I'm unhappy with this update. Can you please adjust it?" And if enough people said that, you would have gotten the same response. You don't have to berate the mods and berate personally attack. Like, I was in the SOS Discord, and I actually had to just like get out of it for a while. Like, I could not open it up. It was just so dark. They were like, "I'm gonna, find you and kill you. I hate you, mod." Blah, blah, blah. And these are players. They're players.
It was the same. It was the same when they actually give the people 4,000 epic searches, and that was active around 2-3 hours, and they disable it and they remove it. So people who didn't actually got them, like they weren't online or something, they were super pissed. It was the same situation, but the problem is that mods, as someone mentioned, are just the gamers. They cannot explain why that happened and what are the consequences and what can be done about it. So in the end, I jumped in because I'm from IT background, and I explained that devs cannot do anything about it because everything is already done. They cannot revert the database. They cannot revert anything on previous state for that reasons. And everybody cooled down because this is now our reality. But mods they don't have information or training to actually correctly explain to the players why something happening and what can they do about it, which makes additional frustration of the players. Like, I have a problem and you're just feeding me like nothing.
I think people need to look at the mods on SOS as directors of where to post things, and that's really it, because they are players and they have a lot of information and they can relay information to the devs, but I don't know that the devs really relay a lot of information to them to put out. They don't do that. What they are is like, they are just there to tell you where to post it, how to post it in the right and correct format, in the right place, and just kind of keep order in the Discord server. And that's really all they are. They're there to help if they can, but they're not there to like abuse, and they're not.
Yeah, and my support ticket is 5 days now unanswered. So what should I do now? Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the second time. And I usually just get the message like, "Oh, we had a problem and now send it again," or something. I mean, it's frustrating, right?
And it is.
I will say that is the fact that the mods were getting abused because the customer service support is basically like talking to a robot, where you're going to get a automated response within 48 hours. So, they kind of contractually fulfill their, their thing, but usually you never get anything with like substance that is actually going to be controlling or can change your opinion or attitude. It's that's the most alarming thing about it. And unfortunately, all that fell on the mods. That all fell on their shoulders.
They're collateral,
collateral damage. Yeah.
Collateral damage. Yeah.
Yeah. Daedric, did you have?
It's not their fault. I mean.
No, yeah, totally not their fault. Daedric, did you have any feedback on it?
Well, just talking about customer service, I know a lot of the people actually in the viewership and a lot of us in this panel, all of us who have full-time jobs or work in any industry, customer service is one of the number one things and the frontline thing of what you do when you sell a product, right? So whether you're in a customer service role or not, we all have experienced that. So, you know, for a company like this, their customer service should be exemplary when you're looking at it from a perspective of, you know, I want to grow the game and I want to make money. How do I do that? Customer service is one of the number one things you invest into. So the fact that we wait, you know, hey, we'll get back to you in 48 hours and it takes 5-6 days and it's an automated response, or the issue or concern isn't addressed, you know, my question is, you know, where's the investment going into the technicians and the support staff to help answer the questions for the players? I think one of the reasons why we have so much more backlog, or sorry, King's Group has so much more backlog with their inquiries, is because rather than answering a question and it being done with and the issue being resolved, there's this extra friction created because now the messages back and forth have to go back 4 or 5 times before the issue is actually completed. Mm-hmm. So it's taking, you know, vast amounts of time to even get issues addressed. And, you know, does it take an entire community to voice it for it to be changed, right? Am I able to send a message, and it is a serious issue, am I as one player able to have that rectified? Or do I have to go to Scorn and you and Nemkey and Delete and say, hey, I need you to get your entire alliance to submit a request just to get, you know, a response? So it's very inconsistent. And that customer service thing is so important for games like these.
Yeah, you know, I love to play devil's advocate. I just try to think in terms of if I was the person assigned to dealing with questions like that, tickets put in, how would I prioritize those? How would I determine this person's question and issue is worth my 45 minutes of time to look into and fix versus another player's 45 minutes of time?
It's simple, actually. It's based on category. Like if you have payment issue, they will answer you first. It's all about the money. So depending how much money they will lose.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but if I'm saying we're trying to suggest ways to improve here instead of just complaining about stuff, we want to really say, okay, maybe this is a different way to do it. How would we do that as far as categorizing prioritizing what happens? Maybe even a player-based escalation where you bring to questions and then you have the mods would be responsible for bringing the ones that they feel are...
Well, it's actually simple. I mean, it's quite simple. You actually need to fix what made people submit the tickets. And that's usually updates or not understanding what is updated, like this healing thing, they reduce it to 15, I think, or something, or they change the trap or something, and people just send a ticket because they don't understand what's going on. And if they just have better community communication with community, and they have beta testers and they're active, and people will actually get informed on time, it won't be so much the tickets and complaining and so on. So
I do agree with that. I think a beta program would be a big solution to some of these, like you said, getting the bugs fixed before they happen. So that's less tickets to worry about and try to prioritize.
Yeah, or just more updates on social, you know, on ways to kind of handle or see what the new updates are going to be, you know, so this way everyone's not hit with a complete mallet, you know, so this way it's like, oh, well, it's posted here. You know, a lot more information. If they distributed a lot more information through their social, as opposed to, you know, which is cute, you know, guessing Lucky's birthday and figuring out what letters are missing out of this is very cool. But, you know, at the same time, you know, there should be mixed in different layers of just content that people are actually looking for. You know, I mean, everything gets logged, you know, everything gets logged, and the taller the pile, you know, that's what you pay attention to first.
Yeah.
You know, and if it's a simple fix as like, wow, we're getting a lot of people that just don't understand trap and how come, you know, they're building it and nothing's happening. You know, when you're a new alliance and you have 3 people in it, you know, that's something that you can solve. When you have someone that's like a, you know, a top end player that's asking like a really in-depth question, that's got to see a completely different customer service representative, you know, and depending on how many arguments they're getting or how many tickets they're getting, you know, I mean, that could crush the game flow of their money at the same time. So they can't answer everyone with a 45-minute explanation, you know, but there definitely should be, you know, a way to kick it up to a supervisor, you know, if you could, you
An
know.
escalation.
Yeah.
Well, I think, to be honest, I feel like some of the change for this is going to start with people like us in the community. It's going to be us being able to help people learn how to articulate their problems and escalate them in an appropriate manner. Because I know, like you said, Facebook is not this, our social media, all it is Lucky, guess her birthday and her favorite color stuff. But at the same time, if you look at every single post on Facebook, underneath it is a tirade of FUs. I hate this. My stream post was just 100 messages of just spewing hate and I'm like, I would not want to try to venture out into that and get community to listen to me or talk to me in a respectful way if I haven't even said a word and it's already coming at me like that. So if we want the devs to be more communicative with us, we have to actually be respectful when we are trying to communicate with them. So I think that's kind of where we can start off with it. Not saying it's our responsibility. It is their responsibility. But we love this game and we want it to change, then we need to try to do something about it. Like we're petitioning now. We have been constantly petitioning for a beta program, and we're going to keep doing that. But we also need to be mindful and respectful when we go and give feedback in Discord servers or on social media. That's just my 2 cents with that.
Yeah. I almost feel like also all the complaints are forcing them to change the game, because if there's so many people unhappy with the game right now.
You mean the new game? You mean the new platform?
Why would they continue to roll out a game that so many people are unhappy with? Maybe they should feel. Maybe they're feeling like they should go back to formula and start it again with the new states.
Oh, you mean like that might be why they're doing the platform change, is just because they're just scrapping it and starting over?
It's, you know, I'm just, as playing devil's advocate, you know, if you're getting so many tickets that are complaining about the game the way it is, then maybe you should change.
You mean scrap trying to fix the old one and just start over?
Yeah. Let's just,
yeah.
You know, and that's a scary thought. That is a scary
I hope that's not what they're doing, but that is a scary thought. I really hope that's not what they're doing. What do you think, Scorn? I saw you talking.
Oh, yeah, no, that was something with my state going on. No, so, I mean, again, I agree. I mean, I think it kind of leans back a little bit on what Nemkey was kind of emphasizing earlier, highlighting the fact that they have been community oriented. This wasn't a demonstration of, hey, let's practice these things that they mentioned. For them, no, we weren't consulted, never have been, never will be on these, and they haven't demonstrated any consideration towards us or the improvements for us, as much as just a new framework for the game for newer players. And so I mean, to me, it's kind of a why, if they find that this new framework does make them more profits, does benefit them more in that aspect, why would they continue? Why would they continue to help you? I mean, continue to fund or focus their efforts on the older states.
Yeah. I mean, and somebody put a question, and I was holding questions till the end, but they said, we are asked to be respectful and mindful, but how does one do that when the developers are not respectful and mindful of the original players?
Yeah, I fully support that comment, whoever made that comment.
It was John Gall, and I do understand that. Like, it's kind of where they've got us in between a rock and a hard place. We don't really have any option other than to just try to move forward and do the best that we can as far as being mindful and respectful to get the game changed. The only other option is to delete. Delete.
So, you know, in game updates, and I think everybody remembers this, and this is recent game updates. Have you noticed that when they send you a game update, they say what's changed, and then they use the word besides, comma, this is what we did. Have you seen that? Like even the tone of their system messages they're sending?
No, I didn't notice that.
Dicky Fang or someone else highlighted it. It was in the Discord chat. A system update came through, and it was from the developers, and they said all the stuff that they were changing, and they said, besides, we've done this for you. Almost in a way of going, you shouldn't be complaining because we did this.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
The tone of it, but it was very clear the tone being used based off of the language in the system mail. Like it's even the way even the messages that we're receiving in our system mail are even coming across as, a bit ignorant.
That's interesting. I never really noticed the besides, but that would come across that way too, though, honestly. Like, besides, you're getting this, so you shouldn't be complaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I know we've complained a little bit, but what do you guys suggest? Like, what's the one suggestion you would say to make this easier or make this better in the future, as far as obviously communication, a beta testing program, but as far as their support, are we saying that they should really put some effort into their support personnel, I guess, and the way they respond? Or
maybe it's their internal practice, like their actual operational process of handling.
Yeah, the workflow, so to speak, of it.
Nemkey, I'm familiar with what Nemkey was talking about, where they categorize and escalate based off of the priority order of a request, like what the request is about. We don't even know if that's a smooth process for them. Like that could be broken for them, and that's partially maybe why they're so backlogged, is they're not even handling the priority of the request properly.
Did you say outsourcing the support? Is that what you said?
I think they're already outsourcing, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm sorry. I was just kind of toned out for a second. I was reading chat.
But it's Chinese company, right?
Yeah.
Where are they going to outsource?
Well,
there's tons of places.
King's Group is based in the U.S.
So you may be right, though, that the devs may not even know what problems are getting to them because they're not appropriately prioritized and escalated as they should be based on, certain criteria. So they may not even realize that that's such a problem. And I'm sure they do realize it's a problem because they hear us complaining about it. But again, are they really looking when all they see is complaints of FU all the time? Like, how much do they really see a legitimate saying this is not a good process, like from an articulate, logical thinking, not ranting person? So I don't know, maybe more streams like this. I know that Sticky puts out videos with it, maybe more of these types of forums where we can get it across. Maybe they will start reevaluating those things. Anything else? Any other thoughts on that, guys? I think we should probably move on to the next thing.
I think that, I think that community should actually, like take things into their own hands and just improve, improve the work flow of information and maybe try to get. I think Stick is doing a great job. He's trying to get the community not together, and when you have community around yourself, then you actually have an impact. Because just me or just you, we can't do really anything. But if you get like critical mass, then you can create the change. But not before that. You need a critical mass.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I agree. But I do also know that the devs watch the show. And I do know that the things that we say, they do take into account and they are listening. I think it all is, for us, it shouldn't be, but it all is a matter of tone and how we present our ideas, and that we're not just complaining about an issue, but we're complaining with a suggestion of how to fix it.
I don't really think I need to watch my tone in order to complain, really, because, I don't think, I am also dev. I will be honest, I'm also dev. But no, I always step up and take my responsibility. Like, if something is wrong, I will take responsibility. I will try to change something. But so far from King's Group, we got nothing, like just the wall. And now I need to be respectful in order for them to, at least show some compassion to the players. I don't think so. I don't agree. I think they need to do a first step.
I don't know.
Because
I think they did do a first
so many
step.
steps.
Nemkey, honestly, I have to disagree with you. I think they did do a first step. They completely changed an intent of the hills thing, they were going to go with the heels
Okay,
being at
one
50.
thing. Okay, sorry.
But I mean, it's a start. It's a start of them trying to change and adjust and listen to the community and trying to change based on that. Like, if we're constantly, and I understand you don't feel that you should change your tone, but I know that you get more flies with honey, and aggressive, constant aggression towards the devs is not going to make them willing to listen to us. Not saying it's right, but tone makes a lot of difference from whether someone is willing to listen to you and listen to your suggestions. So that's what I was saying earlier about this forum. Like, if they're listening to us and they listen to our suggestions with an open mind, then possibly some change could happen. But if we're constantly with a tone of aggressive and you haven't done anything for me lately and I'm done with you guys for not listening to me, what's the point of them changing it then?
Yeah, constructive argument. And, you know, if you were going to read an email for your own business and someone was just completely berating you, you could stop reading it.
I'll be like, all right,
You know,
David,
so-
well, then go on. Trash.
Constructive, you know, constructive argument and solution is kind of how you approach it. You know, it's got to be the diplomatic, just like we were talking, diplomatic and aggressive. Diplomatic is going to win out more than aggressive when it comes to in real life, you know, circumstances.
Well, and there's a big difference too. Like, I've seen some of I've seen some of Daedric's messages to for tickets and stuff. There's a difference between being ranting and being just direct with facts. There's a big difference. And if you can be direct with facts, you can say you're justifiably upset and bring the direct facts without being insulting, and also give a solution of how to fix a problem. That is a total game changer when it comes to things like this, I think.
So one thing I want to play devil's advocate on, and this is coming from a business to customer standpoint, which is exactly what this is, right? Kings Group's the business and we are the customers, the players. Why should the customer always have to present a solution? And I say that with a grain of salt, right? As a customer, our expectation is that we're being provided a service, and if there's an issue, we voice our issue, you know, directly with facts, as you mentioned. But the solution should be coming from them. As a community, we can provide suggestions. We can absolutely provide solutions. That's why I say the grain of salt is we're still involved in that conversation. But with them being the business owner, they should be the ones having that solution discussion and coming back to us with a solution. Because if we're always the ones that have to put in the time work, you know, we're basically spending money. We're paying them for them to come back to us and say, no, you know, I know you've already paid me, but I need you to do a little bit more and tell me, you know, what's your solution? Well, you're a business owner. My expectation is you tell me.
That's a good devil's advocate, because I see your point 100%. My counter to that is, Kings Group is a fairly newer company, I'm assuming. I still don't know all the information. I know that maybe Nemkey might know more than me, but they're not a very big gaming group. They're not like EA or Capital Games or anything like that. So maybe us coming to them with solutions is because they just maybe, quite frankly, don't know how good customer gaming service should be right now. Maybe that's, again, me just playing devil's advocate.
That's lots of assumptions. I mean,
that's true. It is a lot of assumptions.
That's lots of assumptions. I mean, if they need help, please ask for help. Like, should I actually go and knock on their door, say, guys, do you need help? I want to help. I mean, no. I mean, please.
Help me help you, please.
I think so. I think what Venom's kind of hit on, and I agree. I think a lot of people are mentioning it too right now in the chat. Just the idea that you're right. Like, they may not know the solutions or may not know how to open up that dialogue with the community. But a lot of people are saying maybe allow a dev to go on the show and be asked questions that they can answer, not even necessarily immediately. They can answer later and come back or send even, but they'll add an opportunity to at least show face that they're interested in what the community has to say. And then from there, work towards building some type of community or forum for the community to communicate needs, wants. etc.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I've been in talks to try to get that to happen. I think that's a dangerous position for a dev to come onto a live stream that they have no power over what is said, what is put on spot, what is, how guests are going to react and how, that's a scary position. So I think they need to get more familiar with our stream and the type of community we have watching this and the guests that we have and the tone that they have when we're doing these discussions, to know that we're not going to have one on and just kind of like berate them with questions or you're so stupid. Why have you been doing this? Why have you been doing that? Actually have some discussion and feedback back and forth. I think once they see that we do that, we will get some on. I've been told that that's a very good possibility. But,
Can we save the last 5 minutes for the trap?
Yes. Absolutely. Let me get back to what we were supposed to do. Sorry. We've been talking this off. Man, guys, it's all your fault. It's all your fault. I'm staying on agenda. And nobody rewind that and count the amount of time that I was talking because it was probably more than anybody else. Okay, so we went all over the update stuff. Did anything about SvS that we wanted to talk about, interesting mechanics or anything like that? Scorn, I know that you've played it already. Anybody else done anything with SvS? Nemkey, have you done anything with it?
Nope, sorry, I'm still waiting to happen.
So Scorn,
the only thing I would ever have to say about it is just be better. Just kidding. Just idea like
No.
cover it. Just ideas of like they don't allow alliances to take the same tower. You're still enemies. You can't work together to take a tower at least in the same time. Things like that, like the capital aspect, kind of makes it a little bit more that nuance added on because of that. It's a little bit weird and awkward. So like we can have a bunch of alliances working together as much. Like me and another alliance being in the same tower, we can't do that if we're from the same state. We're still separate alliances. So if there's a way to work around that, but that's a whole other conversation.
So yeah, we might have to do a whole nother SvS video or something on that one.
After everybody else gets some of that action.
Yeah, as soon as we can play.
Maybe that's what we'll do. We'll wait for the state open and we'll do a whole SvS. Look, we vow to be S10 during SvS. Sticky Fang just said that there, Scorn.
What did you say?
Nothing.
Did you make fun of me?
Nothing. Nope. Nothing. I didn't say anything.
Yeah, but according to Nemkey, Sticky can't zero anything. So
Nemkey. Okay, so well then we'll work on the SvS after more have been able to play it. We might do a little bit more of SvS. I know that Sticky also had a SvS question Q&A out there, so there's plenty of information out there about that. I know that Nemkey, you wanted to kind of talk about some trap.
Yeah, I want to cover a few things because there are many misinformations and misleading facts about the trap, and especially about the unit type of the trap and so on. So let me tell you. So there are 4 unit types. So in the game, 4 unit types. That is infantry, that is ranged, that's cavalry, and that's boss infantry. First 3 are, as you know, our unit types, and the 4th one is the trap. Now there are 7 classes because every type have 2 classes except the trap. It have only 1 class. So when you say trap is infantry, it is, but it is not the same type as player unit infantry. So they don't share the same perks or benefits. And that's the reason why T9 does not have bonus damage against it. Simply does not. Also, the second fact, you see the health in the trap. That's not the health, that's the number of units. And each 3 to 4 levels, the unit tier increases. So when that happens, even if it's only like difference 100,000 units, it can be actually twice as hard because unit tier actually increased, and health and the defense of these units increased. So killing 100,000 units is not the same effort anymore. You're doing less damage because unit tier actually increased. So T9 does not do more damage because it's not the same unit type. And that's actually units that with a level, with every 3-4 level, tier increases and it's harder to kill. So these are some facts that may help you regarding trap. I can mention my tactic if anyone cares, but
Yeah, no, I would love to hear it. Because that's news. Because we've been always told that it's T9 or better than T10. Daedric, Scorn, Delete. Do you guys have anything to counter with that, or?
I mean, from when we tested it with T9s and comparing, and we controlled it without any criticals with the heroes, I mean, we always consistently found T9 to be stronger, as if it identified it as infantry. And so I mean, if you have a video to share with me or something of comparing the
I
two.
actually checked the game code.
You what?
I checked the game code.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I'm saying, like, it's in the code. The types, the benefits, the perks, everything is there. So
I'm saying interpretation-wise, compared to like actual testing with control groups, like so we have these control groups of T9s consistently making more damage no matter what.
Yes, I mean if you have in the rally like mixed of T9 and T10s, right?
I've never done a mix. I don't see why. Why would T9s make any more damage than T10s? Because the bonus they get to the bonus they get. So
no, I mean, did you had in the rally just T9s?
I use only T9s.
But the other players that joined.
Sometimes I use T10s, but not anymore.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because when you send the T9s and T10s in the report, you will see that T9s, because of the damage calculation, lower players usually. I mean, you will see that T9s do more damage, than T10s. But if you look like the total damage of the rally, it will never be like bigger total damage. If you just send T9, it will never be. Total damage will never be the bigger, even if you see in the rally like T9 did more damage than T10.
So you're saying if you do a corporation, it's probably easier if you explain your tactic to backward or kind of like reverse engineer your answer from that. What's your tactic?
Yeah, so my tactic is that actually I send only hunters. And regarding the heroes, I send Zoe, I send Wolfie, and I send Maddie, because that way I focus only on the damage of the single unit type. And if you see, Zoe have the biggest stats for the infantry, also have attacking skill, while Wolfie also increased 12%. I think rally lethality, and then you have a Maddie that also increased the rally attack and have the attack skill. So you're focusing to increase the damage on only one unit type, and you maximize that also with the talents, with your chief talents. You just put everything into hunters. That way you're not like, and all joiners are also sending just hunters. And of course, the first hero needs to be with the first skill that increase the damage. Usually, we are sending the Sarge or Eve, but usually it's a Sarge. And that way, we are just maximizing the damage output of the single unit type.
Huh. So you're starting and you're using all T10 hunters with that lineup?
Yeah, I do. But joiners usually send to T10 or mix T10, T9 if they don't have enough T10, or just T9 if they're not level 30 yet. And like damage output, it's crazy. It's crazy. I think on 25 or 26, it was 1 million per rally. On 20, the last one, it was 700. I think it's 26 or 27. 700,000. So it's quite good.
Wow. So you're trapping, let's see, if you're doing 1 million in damage and you're at 26, that's roughly about 7 million in damage to complete it. So you're doing it roughly with your alliance, probably like 3-4 turns.
There are 36 of us in the alliance, and usually no more than 50 online for trap, and we are now on 27, or I think so. As you can see, like, we don't have many active people, so we need to maximize the damage we are doing to trap.
So
Wow.
you're saying that the T10s cause the low damage, the low 1 million, or I'm sorry, I was confused.
No, I mean, in one moment we increased the trap tier, so I'm not sure like in which level, but before we increase it, like maybe it was level 26, we did 1 million of the damage, maybe even more, 1.1 or 1.2, and the next level was 700 something thousand, like 27. I can check in the game, but it was something like that. 26 to 27, I believe. Sticky's there, yeah, 26 today. Well, we beat 26 with just 12 people. Yeah.
Dietrich, what do you think?
Scorn, I do agree. I think a video would help, just based off of what we've been used to and our understanding. Is maybe, Nemkey, you doing a video, you and Sticky Fang doing a video to showcase it physically, just so a lot of players get a better understanding when they can watch it versus hearing it. Yeah,
that's Sticky job, so tell him.
Well, he's heard because he's watching. So
yeah. I see him saying that they just passed a 26 with all T9s and 15 people on. Is that what you were saying, Nemkey?
No.
No?
It was 12 people from the previous message. I just passed on. Yeah, it was 12 people from his message above.
Yeah, level 26 with 12 people. Wow. I mean, that's interesting. I mean, that's definitely a different strategy than I've heard in the past. Yeah, I would love to see that video, because this way it would just kind of alleviate, a lot of the understanding, because, I mean, that would be tremendous.
Yeah, we just finished, what, 27, 26?
26.
When we had to have 30-something people on to finish that.
Yeah.
40 people on.
And well coordinated as possible to like make
down to the minute.
But then you get into a lot of like some people change their talents. Some people don't. A lot of people kind of get into it and just kind of like go into it without regard, without switching much. But I mean, if you take that focus, you can definitely kind of get there. I can see that. The T10 versus T9 thing. I mean, I actually accidentally put in an equalize into the trap and did 20,000 more damage that way randomly than including infantry.
You did an equalize and did it?
Yeah.
I know. I'm so confused with trap mechanics, to be honest, from all the different things that, like, as Nemkey said, there's so much information out there coming around.
The only confusing thing for me, because I mean, there is something called rounds. So when you're attacking the trap does not have damage. So there is a limit how much damage you can do. And there is actually a limit in the code. You're doing a maximum of 5 rounds with the trap. So that means all your troops are attacking 5 rounds. I still don't understand what is the round and how it reflects to the unit attacking speed, because every unit have certain attacking speed. So that correlation is still unknown to me. I still didn't get it, but you're doing actually 5 rounds with the trap. So,
you mean with every rally is a round?
Every rally? No.
It has 5 rounds?
One rally is doing 5 rounds, yeah.
So is it like a turn order, though? Kind of like in other games where you have a turn order, your first line hits, second line, and your back row hits?
I don't know that. I don't know. But for example, when your certain heroes have a stun, like 1 second, that's actually stunning the enemy for 1 round. And like there is no maximum round when you are hitting the another player, but that actually correlates 1 second to 1 round.
Huh.
Yeah, I'd love to see that video when Sticky can get it out.
Yeah, I'd love breaking the code too. That's probably a whole separate offline or online kind of thing too, because I don't even know how you would even go about that, let alone reading it. probably looks like the Matrix.
Well, because he's in IT. That's why.
Mhm.
That'll do it.
So we all, after the stream, we all
That's
go
not
to,
for
we
us,
all gotta get
delete.
our certification.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just one of the mechanic that's, I mean, quite confusing. It is quite confusing, and people like are just, they think they got it, and they're spreading false information, and that's the reason why I just abandoned the Discord and like, no, screw it. I cannot just repeat myself all the time, or test it, or like read it somewhere, and that's it.
All right. Well, I'm definitely interested to see that video. Guys, do you have anything else about the trap?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. No plasma updates because they fixed it. So we'll save that for another time. Guys, we do have a gift code for this one. Let's see here. Let me see if I can get it to work. There we go. Tonight's gift code is Discovery, and that is valid until June 2nd. So, yeah, guys, you can plug that in, share it out. It's good for everybody. It's again, it's Discovery, valid until 6/2. Let's see here. Nemkey, do you have anything else on the trap that you want to discuss? I'm gonna go ahead and move on to questions if you're cool with that.
Only if there are any questions regarding it, but I don't know. I mean, as you mentioned, maybe it's best that Sticky make a video, and
Yeah, I think that would help people wrap their brains around it a little easier because right now it's so confusing.
I mean, I can make a video and Sticky can comment it because he's like really cool in that.
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, so let me do the questions here. Oh my gosh, there's a lot. And I saw this guy, Matt, out here calling us out going, oh, just like last time, no questions, no questions. I'm like, we saved the questions till the
Well, I think he
end,
was talking
dude.
about the devs.
Oh, no, I think he was
asking
talking about us,
questions,
man.
answer. That's why he was getting mad.
I was like, we save questions till the end. Everybody just relax. Let me get up here to where we have the questions. Okay, so first question was from.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
You guys got it. Deja sitting in for me.
Yep, you got to bounce.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's cool. Bye, Scorn.
Yeah.
Okay, Tits of Fury. Can we get a kitty camo?
Yes.
She wants a kitty camo. Next question is from Sticky Fang Gaming. Understandably, the update wasn't the best. However, do you guys feel it was wrong for the community to bash the devs and the bots so brutally in SOS Discord? We did get to that question, actually. We had talked about it. I think unanimously, we all agreed that maybe it was a little too brutal to get any points across. For Nemkey and Scorn, this is from Sticky Fang. Do you remember when you could use any 3 heroes and not have to use 1 hero of any type? Do you wish that was still a feature, or do you like the hero march setup now?
I actually kind of remember that, but they just changed it, and I got like, was that a thing, or I just didn't understood how heroes working in that point of time. So I kind of like I remembered that was a thing, but like,
yeah,
was it?
I don't. Deidre, do you remember that being a thing? That you could use any 3 heroes and not have to use 1 hero of any type?
No, that was never a thing.
Are you sure?
From my experience, it's always been you can only use 1 of each type.
But you're in 42. Was it maybe in the earlier states, like in 20 and early?
I think that was a thing. I think that was a thing in one moment.
That would be kind of cool. But I mean,
that would help the trap if you can just use every hunter hero you have.
It would make it. Yeah, it might make it a little too easy though.
Yeah.
Okay, Polly Gray. No, these aren't questions. She was explaining how to put questions in, so I pulled it up. John Galt, we are asked to be respectful and mindful, but how does one do that when developers? Okay, we already answered that question. Colossus, Scorn can't see the question. Fury, his kid is wearing glasses. I don't I don't even know how that was a question. Yeah, so let me pull them in again. Okay, that's it. Is that all the questions we got, guys? I think that was it. There was only like 5 questions. And I know there was tons of people in chat, so if you didn't ask a question with the word question in front of it, the Nightbot didn't pull it up. So, and unfortunately, we can't scroll up for very far in the chat to pick those up. So if you have any questions here at the end, we'll be happy to answer them, or you can send them to me and we can get them on for the next stream.
There is a question from Sticky. Matt wants to know battle strategy. Who is the Matt?
Where did you see that one? Let's see. Oh, and also we have another one that pulled up. Maybe I need to refresh Nightbot. Let me do that real quick.
Battle strategy. Just 0 the Sticky.
In general battle strategy or any specifics? Like PvP? Attacking? Defending?
So, I mean, I will share one strategy. It is important to check the hero type. I mean, usually most people attack with the strongest hero. Like you're sieging the city, you're attacking the different city, even as a rally. Like, don't choose Zoe. Choose Jeb for the hunter hero. Like, yeah, Zoe have much bigger attack for the hunters, but survivability is the key for PvP. So you want Jeb who is actually reducing the buffs of the enemy city. And that's much stronger buff than actually just sending the Zoe and increasing the hunter stats. So that's one of the strategy. Always choose all the siege heroes, even if you're rallying the enemy city. All the siege heroes.
Huh. Over Jeb over me, how you're saying?
Jeb is the siege hero, so you're using Jeb over Zoe. I mean, they're the same unit type. You cannot choose Jeb over the Mio because Mio is the So yeah, Mio is one of the strongest siege heroes. I mean, it is the strongest siege hero. But regarding the Zoe and Jeb is much stronger than Zoe for that purpose.
Okay.
And you can test, you'll have less units killed with Jeb. He's also reducing the damage done to your troops as a skill.
Venom.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I wanted to bring up just on behalf of Tits of Fury from S&M, who experienced it in the state and it wasn't fixed for a couple days, is if anyone is experiencing level trap, level 30 breaking. So basically what's happening is you complete level 30, which is the highest level, but you go to open it again and the game crashes. So what was happening with her alliance is all of her leadership members were attempting to open the trap, but every single one of them got kicked out of the game. So it wasn't just one person, one device. It was across multiple devices and multiple players. Every time they hit open on the trap, it crashed. And so they sent in a response to the devs, and the devs got back to them just today saying it was resolved, but there was no notice or no compensation with that. So Fury is just curious as to whether anyone else has experienced it, whoever's on level 30.
Yeah, we're obviously not on 30. Anybody else that has had that happen to them on level 30, post it, send it to us in Discord, get up with Fury. That way she can get maybe more information into for that ticket, or maybe even talk to Ashley on Discord.
So someone also mentioned like T1 to T9, right? Attacking with the mixed troops. No, don't ever use lesser tier than your maximum is. So if we have tier 10, always send tier 10, because there is 20% of the bonus. Let's say you're sending T9 hunters that have 20% bonus against the infantry. That 20%, yeah, it makes sense if your all bonuses are at 0. But as your bonuses are bigger, the bigger is the difference between tiers. So even if you have only 10% of the damage difference between tier 9 and tier 10, when you have 1000% of the damage increase, that's not 10% anymore. That's much more, and does not make any sense to send a lesser tier, because then the bonuses then does not make that much of the impact as they should be. So never send lesser tiers. Don't mix that bonuses of 20%.
Yeah.
Simply does not work.
That's a big rumor going around. I think somebody even posted that as a question, that there's
Yeah, it's sticky because he wants to like everyone else to send lesser tiers on him, so he can.
you mean so he can zero them.
Yeah,
Finally.
that's his tactic.
Yeah, we've heard it a lot. People saying that like a mixture of all different tier levels, that's getting popular. That's what Sticky said. But we've seen it on our state as well. Some of the bigger players, they swear by it, but I think that has been debunked by testing. I think Daedric, Scorn, Silver have all kind of told us that that's debunked. I think Delete knew it from the beginning, but I was still kind of like hoping for it to work, but it doesn't. Okay, next question. Oh, now they pulled up. Okay. Can I be on instead of Silver next time? Who is Steen Maribosen? Is that Mario, Nemkey?
That's no, that's one of Silverwolf's guys.
Oh yeah, dude. Hit me up on Discord. Anybody that is interested in becoming a guest on the stream, hit me up on Discord. I'm not saying you're guaranteed you're going to be on it, but we do like to have all different player perspectives. It's not just all these big guys that know everything about the game. I'm a new player. I like the new player perspective as well, because you ask different questions from someone that knows everything inside and out. So definitely hit me up on Discord if you're interested. Let's see. Defender wants to know what you feed the cat. Daedric.
He's
Nice.
actually a Maine Coon breed, which is why he's so large. It's one of the largest breeds of cat in the world. And he's only a year old, and he was bigger than the other 3 cats I have when he was 6 months old. So he's a beastie.
Hunter question, why T9 and T10 mix is not effective like it should be? I think you just answered that, Nemkey. He just went over that. So Aaron Knight has a question. Next stream, maybe get some people that are free to play or fairly new, so as to see how they like the game and how they keep trying to improve it without being discouraged. I actually do want to have some free to play players and some newer states on. So far, it's been all older states except for me and Delete, but we're kind of now in the middle of the road state. I mean, I think there's over 200 now, right? Yeah. How many?
50. I think we passed 200 at like stream 3.
Really?
Stream 2.
Yeah.
How many are there now?
There's almost 300.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So we're kind of considered newer than middle state, I guess. What?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay. So yeah, I probably will. Like, we'll talk about getting some newer players in. And also, I do love the free-to-play game. I think it's the challenge. It's a very challenging way to play the game, and I've played it in several different games that way, and I've always had a little bit more fun. So I'm not even gonna lie, I really do want to have some free-to-play players on.
I haven't zeroed you, Sticky. Stop spreading the fake things, rumors. Damn it. But it is question for Delete. Sorry.
Let me see. Question, rumor has it that T1 through T10 March formations are starting to be popular. Okay. Yeah, that was Sticky Fang. We got that one. Nemkey shut you down again on that one. Said that you were just trying to get someone to zero. Okay. For Delete, does getting zero discourage you, or would you come back with more determination than before? Nemkey zeroed me once.
Oh, I got to tell you, I've and not to put a target on my head, but I've never been zeroed. I have never been zeroed.
I've never been zeroed, and I'm way lower than you.
It's the first time for everything. I think there's one or maybe 2 people that could possibly do it. But I mean, not for nothing, I'm usually on. So I don't think I would forget how to put a shield on. Or like just randomly relocate.
Yeah, and Sticky was always on, and then he decided to sleep once.
I would want someone to sit out marches like I wasn't around, and if my alliance didn't go ahead and reinforce me while they saw this all going on, because we are a 24-hour alliance, I'd be pretty pissed. But I would come back with determination. You would have to live under a shield. If you set out to farm and get your dailies done, I would crush that. I would absolutely crush it. So I welcome it.
Steen just said he just donated like $3 and said, please don't call me Mario again. Mario is quite funny. I'm sorry though, man. Let's see. I think that's all the questions here. Hold on, I have a question for Daedric. Daedric, have you ever been zeroed?
I think you know the answer to that question, you little shit.
I've never been zeroed, so you could kind of say that me and Daedric are like on the same level in a way.
No, I actually want to make a serious comment on that though, just to build on just that concept. The cool thing about state versus state, and I was telling this to quite a few people from my state, is there's always a bigger fish out there. I don't have the best stats in my state, so it's a guy named Inder from Tits of Fury's Alliance S&M. And I've seen some statistics when you play the Alliance Showdown event, because you can actually check battle reports. There's people with stats that are 200% above his. So, you want to talk scary when state versus state comes down. It is a real possibility for players like myself and Indra and a whole bunch of other big fish where, yeah, you could have a couple million troops and great stats, but you get enough of these really monstrous players to rally you, you're done. So, it just like what Delete was mentioning is, he doesn't really need to bubble or he's online a lot of the time. You got to be careful when we do start to cross borders. It is a very real possibility.
Yeah, I'm still like, I don't even know what I would do if I saw like some of your alliances coming into ours. I mean, it would be fun though. It would be fun. But I'd probably spend most of the time shielded. Restoration from State 39 donated to about $2.50. Thank you, man. I think I've actually tried to talk to you before, maybe have you on the stream one day. But thank you for the donation. Let's see. I'm not really sure what this means. Tip for all states, make a free bunker for all outside of top 5 or the strongest alliances to give them a chance to show their power. Does anybody know what that means?
Yeah, that's kind of like a little mini battleground. So, because normally top 5 just eats up all the territories and there's really no competition. So they're more so asking for all the alliances outside of top 5 to have this own little battleground of theirs away from all the big guys to fight it out on their own and test their power against each other, the smaller alliances.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. It doesn't look like we have any more questions. Nemkey, do you have anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
Nope.
Nope. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah. Sorry, I do. Sticky, you suck.
I like it. So thank you guys for joining. We appreciate it. If you have any game mechanic questions for anybody, these guys are always available. I know Daedric's a little bit standoffish in Discord. You have to kind of give him the criteria and rundown of why you want to talk to him, but he will answer. Delete's pretty friendly. Nemkey actually has a server. You kind of get on Sticky Fang server, right, Nemkey? Do you guys share that together, or do you have your own server for information?
No, we are actually doing 2 different things. I'm writing everything down, and Sticky just like that everybody hear his voice. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can always pop on Sticky Fang Gaming's Discord, and Nemkey is in there in Discord, and like I said, there's tons of information through Nemkey on there. Also, please feel free to join the RSG Discord. We do play a lot of. I am very friendly, Durgan. Stop it. Durgan's saying I'm not very friendly on Discord. I am absolutely friendly. So test that theory and come join the RSG Discord server, and you'll see a lot of the other games that RSG plays together.
And how mean you are.
I am not mean. I'm so nice. What are you guys talking about? Nemkey, am I not nice? I was totally nice to you, right?
Yeah. I mean, you're better than Sticky in every point.
I'm better than Sticky. There you go.
Yeah,
That's
in every
There we
direction.
that's the
go.
bar I've set and I've reached it and I'm happy with that. So guys, remember the giveaway code. I cannot remember it already.
Discovery.
Discovery. There we go. It's Discovery. It's valid till 6/2. Thank you guys. Nemkey, I want to thank you for coming. Daedric, of course, Delete, and Scorn were on earlier. We appreciate all of you guys, and stay tuned for next Friday. We haven't discussed what our agenda is going to be, but we'll think of something, and we'll get it out there on Facebook or on our Discord server and spread the link so that you guys can have a heads up and have questions ready. That would be great. And until then, happy hunting.